Knockout qualifying for our 23rd race of the season. We're getting ready for our next road course stop. We've run a couple of road courses already this season. We ran Watkins Glen about 4 or 5 weeks ago. Before that, we ran Sonoma. And we're getting ready to run here at Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. So, we are getting set here. 5 minutes on the clock here for the first heat of the first round. Looking at Carson Scott, who actually was a former winner at a road course. This is making his way through the tunnel and now comes out of the tunnel to get onto the racetrack. A couple of cars came out ahead of him there. Anthony McCrury in the 61, well-known road course racer. And just ahead of him, rookie Aaron Henderson in the 6, who I believe indeed was the first car out. We talk about Talladega Super Speedway, Daytona International Speedway, all these restrictor plate tracks and whatnot being wild card races. Well, this could be a wild card race as well. This is going to be a race where they'll run with no cautions. And it should be an interesting one. We had a very good battle last season. I'm trying to remember who it was between. And for some reason I can't pull it in. Levi McIntire there behind Carson Scott. Dillon Poteet there as well. All former winners this season. As a matter of fact, everybody that we've looked at so far are former winners with the exception of Aaron Henderson. There is Austin Mongold in the 95, and I did run a special thing to be able to make blurry cars look better, and apparently it didn't work, so oh well. Zachary Stoltz, the 86. There's been a lot of silly season stuff going on for next year as well, and Zachary Stoltz been confirmed will be back in that 86 car for Fire Ice Racing. There's Cat Tellier in the 35. Brandon Gonzales, and there's Joshua Ciculli, trying to make his way into the top 30 in points, two-time winner this season, and boy, really needs a good run here. I don't know if anybody's turned a lap yet, not yet. Looking at James Voyles in the 70. Non-chartered ride. Shaun Gallighan in the 48 car, along with Leon Alvarise in the 9. Alvarise had a poor showing last week at the short track of Salem. Looking to rebound, former winner this season. Matthew Daleo in the 30 out of Strigley Motorsports. There's Cody Llamas. Levi McIntire just ran a lap, 2 minutes 24 seconds, and so did Dillon Poteet. Not rightly sure that's a full official lap time though. There's Trent Dunham in the 1, Jessica Shelton alongside of two-time winner Zachary Fitzwater, both former winners. O'Neal Baldwin. Elijah Gordon had a top 5 last week at Salem. Benjamin Miles, two-time winner. There's Daniel Voyles. Now, he had a great start to the season, but since then, ever since after the All-Star break, he's kind of been under the radar. See if he can bounce back here. Garrett Sydnor in the 88. Ryan Madden in the 8 car. Looking at his former ride from last season. Seth Cole, Joseph Strigley. There's Dillon Young in the 2. John Gilbert, Jake Baskinger, former winner this season. Stephanie Gardner, Daytona 500 winner Kyle Matthews. Keith Batson running the new paint scheme this week. 5 Stars sponsoring his ride out of KAB Racing Enterprises. Wow, really squirrely through that corner. And then we cycle back to Aaron Henderson. So these drivers at the most are going to get about 2 laps to be able to lay down. Right now, Brandon Gonzales, the fast on track, 2 minutes, 22 seconds and 6/10, but I'm pretty certain that that's not going to be an official lap time. John Gilbert just crossed the line. I think these drivers are all going to get around, and in the, I think they'll give them maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes to get around and actually lay down the official lap time. So this is pretty interesting. This is a very interesting knockout qualifying session. You got to get that lap in one try to try and get into the top 12. Henderson's about to hit the start-finish line. There you go, 2:20. These drivers have to be able to get around now. They've all crossed the line, so they're putting down lap time. So 2:13 for Henderson. McCrury 2:14. Doesn't beat Henderson. So Henderson the fastest. Let's see what Carson Scott lays down. 2:15. McIntyre was 2:15. Poteet was 2:15. Anybody else able to hit the 2:13s? 2:13 for Mongold. That's up to second for him. Zachary Stoltz crosses the line, 2:15. Right now it's Henderson and Mongold. 2:14 for Kat Tellier, put her to the third position, but Brandon Gonzales now with the 2:14 also jumps up there. 7th place for Ciculli. James Qualls, 11th. Leon Alvarise, 2:14.555. That's 4th fastest. Gallighan, 12th fastest. Daleo up to 4th fastest. Cody Llamas now takes that, jumps to 4th. Trent Dunham, 7th fastest for the Sega Chevrolet. Here comes Jessica Shelton. She was 23rd last time by, but that was not an official lap time. Let's see where she positions herself. 12th, right on the bubble spot. Here comes Benjamin Miles. Nobody's been able to hit the 2:13s with the exception of Henderson and Mongold. Miles, 16th. Elijah Gordon, 19th. Voyles, 10th for him. Where was Sydnor at? Sydnor was 7th. Madden was 9th. Seth Cole was 21st. Srigley, 23rd. Now 24th. Dillon Young in 16th. John Gilbert up to 6th. And Baskinger crosses the line, 25th. His teammate Fitzwater, 29th for him. Here comes Kyle Matthews and Stephanie Gardner. They have yet to complete an official lap time. They better hurry, too. 9 seconds on the clock. They're just barely going to get there. Matthews will be 28th, and Stephanie Gardner 31st. Batson 30th. And the fastest car on track, Aaron Henderson, looks like he's going to move on to the next round of qualifying along with Austin Mongold, Brandon Gonzales, Cody Llamas, Matthew Daleo, John Gilbert, Leon Alvarise, Garrett Sydnor, Trent Dunham, Ryan Madden. And the final 2 transfer spots will go to Kat Tellier and Anthony McCrury. I don't think they're going to have time to get back around and complete another lap. 0's on the clock, and I think that's going to do it. It is. So these drivers, basically, they have 1 lap, and that's it, to try and get themselves into the top 12. It's going to be a very interesting qualifying session. And as we mentioned, Henderson, Mongold, Gonzales, Llamas, Daleo, Gilbert, Alvarez, Sydnor, Dunham, Madden, Tellier, and McCrury will be the ones that will move into the next round of qualifying. For non-chartered cars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them are moving into the next round, which means that if more than 2 drivers make their way into the next round of qualifying from our second upcoming heat, then we will be having drivers moving on to round 2 that will be eliminated and will not be starting in this race. Only 2 drivers hit the 2:13s, Henderson and Mongold, so that put them with a nice cushion over everybody else. And if we have more than 2 non-chartered cars moving to the next round of qualifying from our second heat, then drivers at this point that would officially not start the race would include the following: Zachary Stoltz, Seth Cole, James Qualls, Elijah Gordon, Keith Batson, and Stephanie Gardner. However, keep in mind, Kat Tellier moving on to the next round of qualifying. So too are Ryan Madden and Trent Dunham, with the whole charter swap thing that's been going on with the 35, 73, 72, as well as the 42, 1, 8, 48. We could see both Keith Batson and Kyle Keith make their way into the race, and that would leave only 5 available spots for non-chartered cars to get in. So that could be a thing that'll happen. It'll all depend on what takes place in our second heat. Don't go away. Coverage of that will continue here from Abu Dhabi in just a moment. So we'll prepare for our second heat, and of course I'm sure these drivers were observing the first heat and the fact that they've got to get out early, so that way they have a chance of crossing the line for their first official lap time, and Dougie Shears will be the first one out in the 21 car. Number of others following him out. Neither of Dougie Shears' teammates, Zachary Fitzwater nor Jake Baskinger, moving on to the next round of qualifying. Also want to point out, too, there may have been a name missing from the qualifying results from the first heat, and that would have been the 04 of O'Neill Baldwin. He actually came to pit road before coming to take the green flag to start his first timed lap, and I don't think was scored as a consequence, so he also will not make the main event. Didn't even get to lay down a lap time, so not really certain what was amiss on the Amp Energy Chevrolet, but tough break for him as he will not make a start here at Abu Dhabi. So Dougie Shears was the first one out, then John Arndt, Nathan Hudson in the 7, James McLeod, rookie in the 51, Joshua Michaels behind him. Ironic, those two know each other very well. Started on the front row together. Michaels on the pole and McLeod on the outside of the front row for the season opener Daytona 500. There's James Richardson, the 11. Had a solid outing last week at Salem. Finished just outside the top 10, somewhere between 11th and 13th. Don't remember exactly where it was. Rocco Twyman, former pole sitter this season. Look for his second of the year. In the 19 car, his team owner and teammate Zach Rogers right behind him, a two-time pole sitter this season, Zach Rogers. Noah Carr's there as well in the 96 for Redline Racing. There's another of the Dodges out of Bulldog Motorsports. Contact right there. Oh, rookie mistake by Tripantacchio Vernio. He ran into the back of Grayson Acevedo and now as a consequence has damage. Boy, that was not good there for Vernio. John Andrews finished in the runner-up position. Almost won last week at Salem. Finished runner-up to Charles Sandfer. Michael Norman, a lot of news swirling around this driver who announced that next season in the Hersheys Cup Series will be his final NR 2003 season. He'll be stepping into the role of team owner rather than owner-driver. Kyle Keith's got some damage. I think he and Chris Dodd might have made some contact. Keep in mind, Kyle Keith's got to make this race. If he's going to try and continue to get himself into towards the top 30 in the point standings, Dodd's got some damage on the back, and I think he may have been the one that Kyle Keith ran into the back of. Joe Rockingham there in the 84. There's Marie Monobe. John Cittadino made the race last week. Would love to make it again this week. Another well-known road course racer. Holden Gluba. Last time we saw Gluba in a points-paying race, if I'm not mistaken, was Watkins Glen. Track that Gluba was a former winner at. JT Bryant, this is a battle right here. Not really sure it's good to be racing side-by-side right now, but William Brock, JT Bryant, side-by-side, and Brock moves by JT. JT gives up the spot. Zack Flickinger in the 01. Davey Johnson's got some damage. Left right side damage on the Pilot Chevrolet out of William Brock Motorsports. Not certain how that's going to affect him. Tim Walsh, a lot of damage on his Kellogg Chevrolet. Both right side and rear damage. Emmanuel Hartnett there in the 97. Jason Haywood appears to have some rear end damage. Well, maybe not. I thought he did from one camera angle. He's battling there with Dallas McIntosh. Daniel Olson and the 52. There's last week's winner, Charles Sandfer, only driver this season with 3 victories. And right now would have the #1 seed in the chase for the championships. Got Johnny Gardner right behind him. Cole Baker finished in the top 5 last week. Was a pole sitter last week at Salem. Would love to start on the pole for the 2nd straight week. Pichu London still looking for his first start in the Hersheys Cup Series. And we come back to Dougie Shears in the 21, who was the first car out. And he is about to lay down his first lap time, first official lap time. Let's see where everybody is. You see these times here. These will not really count. They're going to count on the next time around. Shears lays down a 2:15. John Arndt now takes the pole. Nathan Hudson just took the pole away. McLeod 4th. And these cars on pit road are going to cause mayhem with the camera angles. Marty Johnson up to 10th. Richardson 8th. Here comes Rocco Twyman. And he's 7th. Zach Rogers, 2nd for him. Noah Cars will be the next one to cross. Right now, Nathan Hudson, the fastest on track, 2:13. That'll probably definitely ensure him a spot in the next round of qualifying. 3rd fastest for Noah Cars. John Andrews now next. Started on the outside of the front row last week at Salem. This week, 10th place. Currently, Michael Norman. His teammate Hudson the fastest so far, and Norman is 7th. Marina Monobe crosses 2nd place. Another driver that hit the 213s. 12th for Joe Rockingham. John Cittadino, top of the leaderboard. 213.183 for him. Gluba on the bubble spot, crosses in 12th. William Brock in 4th. JT Bryant in 5th. Flickinger in 10th. Here comes Emmanuel Hartnett. And he is 12th. Dallas McIntosh in 11th. Right now in. Jason Haywood 20th. There comes Daniel Olson in the 52. Ooh, might be a good lap time here. 12th, right on the bubble spot. Sandfer, 18th. Not good enough to transfer. Same for Johnny Gardner, 19th. Pichu London up to 2nd. Cole Baker in 18th. Here comes Chris Dodd. And I don't think he got scored. And I think that's going to do it. Cittadino, London, Hudson, Monobe, Brock, JT Bryant, Zach Rogers, Noah Kars, Joshua Michaels, John Arndt, Zack Flickinger, and Dallas McIntosh will get the final spot. Pichu London again in a position to maybe transfer into his first start of the season. And how about John Cittadino? That team has been really good in qualifying lately. I believe they started 5th last week at Salem. Another good qualifying result for them. As it has come to a close. Session is complete. And the 12 drivers I mentioned down to Dallas McIntosh will be transferring into the next round. And for Go or Go Homers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So that means that officially drivers that will not start this race will be Daniel Olson, Dougie Shears, James McLeod, Johnny Gardner, Holden Gluba, Joe Rockingham, Rocco Twyman, Jason Haywood, John Andrews, Marty Johnson, and there were a couple of other drivers who actually didn't even get to lay down a lap time that we saw on pit road. I believe one of them was Tripin Takiavernio, another was Davey Johnson. They won't be making a start here this week. I think Grayson Acevedo was also on pit road, so he'll be starting at the rear of the field, as will Chris Dodd, and I'm not really sure who the other drivers were that didn't turn a lap. Might have been Tim Walsh, so he'll probably be starting at the rear of the field as well. So that's going to do it here for our first 2 rounds. Now it's time to find out who of the 24 drivers will be moving on to the final 12, and who of the, I believe, 10 Go or Go Home drivers will be moving into the main event. There are only room for 7. And right now, the way things are standing, Kat Tellier could get Keith Batson in, and Trent Dunham, Ryan Madden could get Kyle Keith in. So we'll have to see what takes place. Don't go away. We will continue knockout qualifying here from Yas Marina Circuit in just a moment. So we'll prepare here for round 2 of knockout qualifying. Keep in mind, we saw some drivers that were damaged back from the first 2 heats. If any driver ends up going to a backup car in this one, they go to the rear of the field, both in this second round and in our final round of qualifying. Nathan Hudson was, I believe, 2nd or 3rd fastest in our second heat of our first round of qualifying. Chartered ride, and since he's gotten the charter, his qualifying efforts have been momentously better. Looks like John Arndt in the 24. That is also out. Ways further back is William Brock. I'm noticing these drivers are giving each other quite a bit of spacing here. We saw where a couple of drivers ran into the back of each other in the first and especially the second heat of the first round. There's Noah Kars, all by his lonesome. This could get a little interesting. Zach Rogers and JT Bryant are both together. We'll have to see what happens with those two. Also behind them, you've got Trent Dunham, who's got Zack Flickinger behind him. Now, not rightly certain why you would want to even be running behind somebody like that, because I don't think there's much of an opportunity for getting draft off somebody here. Garrett Sydnor is by his lonesome. John Gilbert, and then you got Joshua Michaels, Cat Tellier, one behind the other. Austin Mongold, Anthony McCrury, who just barely made his way in. There's Marina Monobe. John Ciculli just now coming out of pit road, as is Aaron Henderson and Pichu London and Matthew Daleo and Cody Llamas, Ryan Madden, Leon Alvarise, Dallas McIntosh, and Brandon Gonzales. These guys better hurry. Bring up the ticker just for the purpose of being able to see how much time there is left in knockout qualifying. 2:40 remaining. Of course, they'll have that 2 minutes 20 seconds after crossing the line to be able to then get to the stripe. And Nathan Hudson now coming down the front straightaway. He will now be on his first official lap time, as will John Arndt. As we had in the two heats, these drivers basically, this is going to be it. This is going to be the lap that counts on whether you're moving on to the next round of qualifying or not. And right now as well, Keith Batson's hopes of making the race are relying on Cat Tellier being within the top 7 speeds of the non-chartered cars. Kyle Keith's hope of making the race lie in the hands of Ryan Madden and Trent Dunham, having themselves in the top 7 fastest speeds of the go or go home drivers. Jump back and go to where we had those drivers that were racing each other, and looks like JT Bryant, Zach Rogers, they've separated from each other, as have Trent Dunham and Zack Flickinger, so good to see there. Cat Tellier has given some distance to Joshua Michaels, but Michaels is all over John Gilbert. This could get very testy years. They'll go side by side, and they are now, those two are actually on their first timed lap. Not really sure racing each other is going to help the lap time at all. Don't think they'll get any like side draft or anything like that. If anything, it's going to slow them up. Both of them are, in essence, being denied their preferred entry into the corner. So I don't know if this is going to really help either one of them. I think it's going to hurt them more. And Cat Tellier, Anthony McCrury, Austin Mongold about to join in with this group, and this could hurt their lap times in return. Gilbert took that turn really wide. I think that's going to hurt him as far as speed is concerned in his lap time. Gilbert, Tellier, McCrury, Mongold all in this group. So we'll jump back up to the first car that went out, and that's Nathan Hudson. Takes him a long time to get around this racetrack. As you saw, our fastest speeds in both of our heats was 2 minutes 13 seconds. Here we go. First lap time to be laid down by Hudson will be 2:15.968. And Arndt will beat it. So Arndt right now, the fastest. Looking at William Brock. And he's going to lay down 2:15.1. Now he's top of the leaderboard. Noah Kars now heading into the final corner to the front straightaway. Let's see if his lap time will be good enough to move into the next round. He has to be at a 2:15.1. He gets a 2:15.0. He's the fastest on track now. 2:14.8 for JT Bryant. Put him top of the leaderboard. Zach Rogers 5th. 3rd for Flickinger. Trent Dunham 5th. As Pichu London's on pit road. Oh, this is a mess back here. Garrett Sydnor, top of the leaderboard, 2:14.433, and I don't know who's going to get what here. Someone may get the wall. Someone may get the hook. Oh, they all get through it, but where are these guys going to situate? McCrury, Tellier, Michaels, Mongold. They all cross the stripe. Dunham moved up to 7th. Mongold up to 8th. McCrury up to 5th. Tellier was 13th, and John Gilbert was 15th. Right now, it's Garrett Sydnor would be the pole sitter. Marina Monobe crossed in 8th. Right now, she would transfer. How about John Ciculli was the fastest in the second heat? And he's going to get 2:15.9. That's 12th. That's right on the bubble spot for him. And that got beaten. Aaron Henderson up to 3rd. Matthew Daleo up to 5th. Ryan Madden, top of the leaderboard. Cody Llamas, 15th, not good enough to transfer. Leon Alvarise, 18th, not good enough. 14th for McIntosh, not good enough. Brandon Gonzales, top of the leaderboard, 214.038. And that's going to do it. Brandon Gonzales will move on to the next round, along with Ryan Madden. Oh, wait a minute. Nathan Hudson may be able to lay down another lap time here. He dropped to 19th. Let's see if he can do anything. He's going to have time. Only good enough for 14th. Oh, man. John Arndt. He was able to cross the line again, too, but only good enough for 14th. How about William Brock? He's in, but I think he just missed out on getting scored again. Yep, he did. He's into the next round, though, so good news for him. Brandon Gonzales will transfer into the next round, along with Ryan Madden, Garrett Sydnor, JT Bryant, Aaron Henderson, Matthew Daleo, Noah Kars, Zack Flickinger, Anthony McCrury, William Brock, Trent Dunham, and Marina Monobe will be the final 12 who will battle for the pole position here this week at Yas Marina Circuit. And as I look here, let's find out who the top 7 speeds were for Go or Go Homers. They were Garrett Sydnor, Aaron Henderson, Matthew Daleo, Noah Kars, Marina Monobe, Austin Mongold, and Zach Rogers. However, because Ryan Madden was second fastest, his charter, it could also have fallen to Trent Dunham, but his charter will swap over to Kyle Keith, which means Keith will make the show, and Zach Rogers, unfortunately, will not be making the race, along with John Cittadino and John Gilbert. Also, Pichu London will miss out on the race. He didn't even get to complete a lap time, some on pit road early. So the 7 drivers that will transfer into the main event will be Kyle Keith due to the charter swap with Ryan Madden, Garrett Sydnor, Aaron Henderson, Matthew Daleo, Noah Kars, Marina Monobe, and Austin Mongold will get the final transfer spot into the main event. But it'll be Gonzales, Madden, Sydnor, Bryant, Henderson, Daleo, Kars, Flickinger, McCrury, Brock, Dunham, and Monobe who will battle for the pole position here this week at Abu Dhabi. Who will it be? We'll find out in just a moment. Coverage continues right after this. So, we are moments away from finding out who will be starting on the pole position at this racetrack. And if knockout qualifying has been any indication, out in front is where you want to be. So track position could be a huge key, especially with the fact that there will be no cautions in this week's main event. Will not allow drivers to be able to bunch back up and have an opportunity to pick up spots. Looks like the first car off track will be the Audi of Anthony McCrury. Matthew Daleo leaving pit road along with JT Bryant. Who will be starting on the pole position? Only time will tell. Anthony McCrury, defending champion of this series, former winner this year as well. Would love to be able to pick up his second win of the season, and would love to do it here at a road course. Mentioned Daleo and JT. There they are. We've got 4 rookies right now that have a shot of getting the pole. Daleo is one of them. There's William Brock in the 15. Noah Kars. Noah Kars knows this track. He drove this track back in Season 1 when he was driving the 42 car. Trent Dunham, trying to get his season turned around. It's been a while since we've seen the 1 car make it into the final round of qualifying. We'll see if maybe he can start on his first pole of the season. Aaron Henderson. He's about the 6th or 7th car that actually came off pit road this time. He's been actually the first one off of pit road for first 2 rounds. There's Brandon Gonzales. He was the fastest in the second round of qualifying. Former winner this season at Texas, would love to pick up a second win this year in that Mitsubishi Lancer. Ryan Madden, one of 2 of the Sega Motorsports cars to move here into this next round. There's Marina Monobe. Monobe right now, yeah, the only driver out of Fire Ice Racing to move into the main event race. Teammate John Cittadino made it to round 2, failed to advance. Zachary Stoltz didn't even get out of the blocks of round 1. Garrett Sydnor In the 88, his teammate Chris Dodd will be starting at the rear of the field. Sydnor would like to be able to start at the front. Zack Flickinger. Got to remember with Flickinger that his only win in the Hersheys Cup Series came at a road course. It was when he beat Anthony McCrury back in Season 1 at Lime Rock. And there is McCrury. About to head here into the final portions of this road course, and he will get ready to lay down the first official lap time of this session. You want to watch a way to get around the racetrack, just watch that 61 car. He knows exactly what he's doing. Curry, a well-versed road course racer. I also noticed that Matthew Daleo has lost his buddy JT Bryant. Is Bryant on pit road? Bryant might have run into the back of him or something. Looking for the 22. And I do not see him. As a matter of fact, wait a minute. What the heck? Where did Trent Dunham go? Where's the 1? The 1 is missing. There were a couple of missing. Trent Dunham's out. Oh, Trent Dunham's gone. Where did he go? I think he had to go to a backup car. JT Bryant's on pit road as well. And I think we lost one other person too. I'm trying to place who it is based on who's still running. And I would... Well, maybe there isn't anybody else. But troubles for the 1 and the 22 of Trent Dunham and JT Bryant. Now, if those two had to go to backup cars, they're forfeiting any good starting spot they would have in this race, and they'll be starting at the rear of the field in backup machines. Just seems to be the story of Trent Dunham's season, I'll tell you what. McCrury now heading towards the final few corners with 5 seconds to go, but there'll be that 2 minutes 20 seconds extension time. Oh, wait a minute, there isn't. They've only got 15 seconds to get back to the line here. Oh boy. I didn't know that that was something that the NNSCRA was doing, and McCrury's going to be the only one maybe to get to the line. 2:13.671. Dunham's on pit road. He's in a backup car. And second place for Daleo. These guys better hurry and get to the line. Brock, you've only got 24 seconds. I think session may be complete. Did only 2 drivers complete laps? Oh my. Brock wasn't even scored. Only 2 drivers completed laps there. Oh my goodness. McCrury and Daleo were the only 2 to complete lap times here in this session. You have got to be kidding me. Wow. Oh my goodness. So...
Drivers, to your cars.
Man, so I don't think this has ever happened before. That means that the other drivers that did not turn a lap time have to fall back on their lap times from the last round of qualifying, which means I believe Brandon Gonzales would then start in 3rd place. But, wow. I was not expecting that. I thought they were going to have that 2 minutes, 20 seconds to be able to, complete their lap times, but not the case. McCrury and Daleo were the first 2 off of pit road, and it served them well. McCrury will start on the pole. Daleo will start in 2nd. And we did get word that both Trent Dunham and JT Bryant both went to backup machines, and so they will be both starting at the rear of the field. It's going to be a very crazy looking starting lineup based on what happened here in knockout qualifying, but for the full qualifying results to see who's going to be making this race and starting where, check down in the description. Thanks for tuning in. That was a very interesting way to end this one off. And McCrury will capture the pole position here, looking for his 2nd win of the season. Hope you guys enjoyed this knockout qualifying session. If you did, be sure to give a like to become a part of the crew today. Again, as I said, the starting lineup is down in the description. So that's going to do it here, and we will get ready now for our 23rd race of the season here, caution-free road course racing at Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi. So until then, I'm Seth Cole. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time as you've been watching production of the NNSCRA, All Flying Racing at its best.